We'll now hear again from that inspired comic wizard, Martin Shortt, whose own talents for eccentric impersonation are in league with those of Peter Sellers. SCTV, Second City TV, along with Saturday Night Live and Monty Python's Flying Circus, is credited with changing the face of television comedy. In what way?
Well, I think that SCTV was just so smart. It was such a well-crafted show. The cast and writing staff were just so good. And I think because it was being done in Edmonton or Toronto, the network really left it alone.
Yeah.
You know, the heads of the networks didn't feel that since they'd been agents 3 years before, that they should fly up and tell everyone how to do the comedy. They just couldn't bother to make the flight, which was our advantage.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that we were then allowed to be very independent and not feel, the most important thing, pressured to make everyone laugh, which equals playing to the lowest common denominator. We just, if it didn't play within the room, it didn't play. It just so happened that our room got bigger.
What was it about SCTV that made it so special, though? Because it really was special. Just to gain that blend?
Again, it was the blend. It was the blend, and a very good idea, and a good idea that played into the strengths of the cast and the writers.
Yeah.
You know.
What were some of your favorite skits and moments? Certainly one of mine was Jerry Lewis in the Ingmar Bergman film, Scenes from an Idiot's Marriage.
Yes, that was a good one. By Dick Blasucci, Paul Flaherty. I don't know. There's so many. There's so many of them that I liked. There's rarely a show of SCTV. What I find amazing, truthfully, about SCTV, and again, I was only involved in the last chapter of it, is to be able to look at it and see how many of the sketches still are funny. How many, the percentage of these shows that still work. Often you look at Saturday Night Live from the early years, and sometimes the legend is more prominent than the actual fact. But in SCTV, these pieces have a definite timelessness to them, I think.
How did you get cast in your first movie, your first motion picture?
That was Three Amigos. I was cast, I don't know, I got a phone call from Lorne Michaels asking me to...
Good old Lorne.
Good old Lorne.
Yeah.
And invited me to come up to his apartment in New York, and we discussed many things, including, I mean, we'd met before, but this film. So he gave me a script, I read it. And then I went and met Steve Martin. I'd never met him, in Los Angeles in 1985.
My, 1985.
Yeah.
Boy, the years.
Yeah.
Suddenly hitting 13, right?
Mm-hmm.
From the time from then to now.
Yeah.
Was it, I guess it was very pleasurable meeting Steve Martin.
Oh, it was exciting. The first thing I said to him is, I remember I looked around his house and I said, how did you get this rich? I mean, it was just amazing how rich he was in paintings and because I said, I've seen your work, it can't be that. No, I liked him right away. I did. We became very good friends. Yeah.
We saw him in this Spanish Prisoner.
Yeah. Isn't it good?
Interesting role.
Yeah.
What are some of your favorite film roles? You've got quite a few of them. The list, several pages here.
I don't know. I mean, I loved Inner Space. I loved Clifford. I loved Three Fugitives. I loved The Big Picture. I love Father the Bride.
Oh, yeah, Father.
But,
the two of them,
tend to, yeah, both of them. I tend to, I don't know. I tend to let other people tell me. Because, often if you say, I like a film, or I didn't like a film, and there's someone up there saying, you didn't like that film? I love that film. So then suddenly you're insulting them somehow. So I think it's usually easier just to let someone else tell you what they like. Maybe they don't like any.
Well, one of mine is Frank, the effete party planner for the two Father of the Bride movies.
Right. When I played Frank in Father of the Bride, it's a very broad, kind of outlandish, strange character. But I could take you down to Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills, and I could take you from shop to shop. You'd see many people like that. if it looked like I was really trying to make you laugh, then I would have been out of the scene.
Oh.
And I think you would have resented my presence then.
You let me discover you then.
Yeah.
That's right. Changes in comedy over the years. Could we have some comments, sir, on the comedy of Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, and other silent film comedians?
Well, comedy changes continually. It's always being changed. You know, in the 20s, slapstick was the great art form. Yeah. Geniuses were considered the people who did it. By the 50s, it was the Three Stooges, and it was considered the lowest art form. It still made everyone laugh as much as they ever did.
But low.
But now it was not an art form. Now it was just cheap. Anyone could do it. And in the recent years, that broad comedy is come back. People like Jim Carrey have helped push it through, you know.
That's right, too.
And so now it's, I mean, I always loved, there was a review, I think it was LA Times or it could be New York, but when Jim's first movie, Ace Ventura, came out, that critics hated it.
What was the first one?
I think it was Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
And just, you know, a disaster. And then it made, you know, $100 million in a day or something. And suddenly there were reappreciations, re-understandings.
Yes.
And it was just garbage. It was based, not the film, that reaction was garbage. It was really what they were doing is, oh, if it's so popular money-wise, I guess I'll change my mind and say, you know, it is wonderful.
The happy family life that you enjoyed, sir. Comments on growing up in an atmosphere that apparently everyone in it was quite funny.
Yeah, very funny. Yeah. Very funny. Very funny family. I always felt I was like the recipient of trickle-down comedy because, yeah, Reaganomics, remember that term? Trickle-down theory. Because I was the youngest of 5 and everyone was funny. My father was funny, my mother was funny, my brother Michael is a 2-time Emmy-winning comedy writer for such shows as SCTV and specials I've done in John Candy, et cetera, and Mad TV. And my brother Brian is very funny. My sister Nora is very funny. So everyone was kind of, that was the norm in the family.
Like to direct a movie someday?
I would. You know, I have been asked to direct film throughout my life, or different times of life. The reality is, I think, is that that's something that you really, really have to want to do, as opposed to someone telling you it's a good idea that you do it.
Yeah.
The best directors I know were the guys who were not like me doing imaginary variety shows in their attic. They were pretending to be David Lean and seeing Lawrence of Arabia 15 times. And I have my friend Paul Flaherty used to send his little brother Phil down in a shopping basket, you know, down a hill and pretending it was a camel. And he'd film it, you know. I kind of think that's...
Oh, my God, that's hysterical.
Yeah.
Frightening.
Terrifying. But I think that that is, you know, where I would like to think where I'd be in that headspace before I jump into directing a movie.
Thanks for letting us come here and chat to you.
Pleasure
it's wonderful
to
to see you in the flesh after so many years.
Yeah,
All the best to you, Mark.
Thank you. Nice spending time with you, Elwy.
You know, I've spoken to many of Canada's most famous comedy stars over the years, including Dave Thomas, Mike Myers, and this year, even Leslie Nielsen. And it always strikes me that, like Martin Shortt, they're all extremely serious about the business of comedy. Bye for now. See you next week. Larry Paikin, father of Studio 2's Steve Paikin.
Yes, the infamous Steve Paikin.
Yeah, I'm a good friend of him. I think he's a good friend of mine. He's a wonderful chap. Said that you're, quote, no different today from what you were when you were 15 years old. That's a great statement. Comments, sir, comments.
Well, except the aging. He's leaving out the aging, I guess. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's someone else's perspective, which is, I guess, saying that show business hasn't made you a big phony.
Yeah.
Or that's saying that you're a big phony to start with, and you're just continuing to be a big phony. It's a very ambiguous statement, I suppose. But thanks, Larry.
And speaking of comic genius, here's a membership message from a beloved Canadian comedy star.
Hello, I'm Martin Shortt, and it's been a few years since I had my own TV series on TVO, Ferguson, Shortt, and Ross. That would be 1978, 20 years ago. But still, I would say that this is without question, as far as I'm concerned, and I've been, worked and been kicked off many networks in my day. This is the best. This is the purest. This has the highest quality of entertainment, and I definitely advise you to support heartily TVO.
Thanks, Marty. If you enjoy the laughs TVO brings you with programs like Chef, Father Ted, The Vicar of Dibley, and all that other funny British fare, call 1-800-668-1414 and help keep the laughs coming.